Hey, is Dave there?
Well, it's a beautiful morning out here. It's early June. I'm going to do an experimental micro paddle. Now, people talk about paddling big water all the time, but they don't talk about paddling small water. And this is little water. This is a Nose Creek. It has its own watershed that flows into the Bow River. And I'm going to paddle it this morning. You can see over here, we are intercity, I would say. This is going to go down through Calgary, all the way to the junction of the Bow River, right around where the Calgary Zoo is. And it's small water, so the difficulties don't come from big rapids and dangerous stuff. It comes from small level navigation, weird little obstacles, bridges, tunnels, all these things that we're going to bump into today, and I'll share those with you. Part of the reason for doing this is I want to test out this pack raft. I have a bigger trip in mind, but I want to try out this pack raft, this brand new Hakula pack raft, and put some gear in it, the equivalent of a day's gear, and see how it floats and make a paddle and do a test run. I'm going to also try out some of my electronics, a small drone, and a DJI Pocket Pro. These things are kind of neat pieces of electronics that I want to test out as well. So stay tuned. I'll get some shots with the drone and with my phone. I've got a GoPro as well. I'm trying out all these different electronics, and I'll take various shots and updates as I go along the Nose Creek. For those of you not familiar with pack rafts, here's the pack that it comes in. It's a bag, you screw it on, and then basically you fill it with air and you roll it up to fill up the raft. It does take a bit of work. It took me about 20 minutes to get it to this point, and then I think I'm going to have to air blow some in to tighten it up. But in general, if you're hiking in somewhere, you put it in this bag, you hike in, you can blow this thing up, and away you go. So it is very handy. Before I get going, this little creature's right in the rocks here. He's dead, obviously. It's a crayfish, and I guess Nose Creek is known for these. I don't know if they're native or not. I don't suspect they are, but I have read an article where people catch crayfish on the creek. Kind of an interesting start. So 5 minutes in, I see a little barrier here to keep the water levels up. It's kind of interesting. I expect to bump into a few of these today, but maybe not so quickly. 5 minutes in. What I will say is the pack raft is tight. I probably got too much gear in it, but I'm able to make progress. So here, I gotta pull it back. I'm gonna keep going, but so far slow paddling. We'll see how I progress. So I've made it past the main bridge. Now, what we'll find in here, and one of the things that is concerning about micro paddles is man-made structures. So under the bridge there was a bunch of erosion control, so I had to pick up and move the pack raft, well, portage essentially, or line. Now, I did find a neat technique in the shallow water. This thing can run in about 6 inches of water with me in it, but there's spots where it's less than that, and I'm bumping on the bottom. So what I did is left it fully loaded, got in it, and just guided it with my paddle and walked down the stream. That worked very effectively. You can probably see a few ducks here. I'm trying to get my GoPro going, and we'll chase these little, I think they're buffleheads, but we'll take a look, and maybe a bird lover can tell me what these two are. They're just paddling around in the stream ahead of me.
Now, this is a classic example of what I run into throughout the day. The constant getting in and out of the raft, whether it be from man-made or natural obstacles. So, ranking up on strange but true, someone's got a little boat run aground in here. I have no idea what they would do with that, but maybe it's just stored here and they thought it'd be good to put it in the water. A little ladder going to it. Maybe they're just sitting in the boat pretending they're boating. Kind of fun, whatever it is. If it's a kid's playhouse, that's awesome. but did not expect to see that down in the stretch. And I'm talking quietly because I don't know. It has a backwoods kind of feel to it when you find weird stuff like this. So anyway, I'm going to carry on quietly and go buy this. So as an example of man-made structures that I really want to watch for, someone's made a little makeshift bridge here. You can see it goes across. I passed a raft under it, but if you look underneath, there are 2 nails sticking up. I just about caught those, which would have been bad news for my rafting day. Sometimes it's just better to walk whole stretches. You can see there's about 100 feet of stone minefield there, and I just walked the whole thing and pulled the raft through. So I got to this structure. It looks like an old water control head wall or a dam, but as you can see, you can just kind of pull and paddle around. It doesn't work anymore, so I don't know how old that is, but it was containing the water at some point. You'll find a lot of interesting things along the riverbank and the stretch. Here's an old flattened car that's been there for many years. And in this stretch also I bumped into a number of fish. Here's a couple of whitefish that are cruising along ahead of me in this small set of rapids. So I'm at the far end of Lake Kekula here. You can see that we're clearly in Calgary proper now. We've come out of the outskirts and into the city. Progress is slow, so things I've learned so far. I have a nice foam mat, or foam seat, but it's soaked now and weighs a ton, so I think that's weighing me down. I've got gear to overnight, but really, with these types of paddles, the Hukula, it needs big water to run. So this thin, shallow water, with the weight, I'm bottoming out in a lot of spots, so it's definitely impacting my progress. Now I have made it through the hardest part, so I'm hoping as I get closer to the bow and small streams and storm drains join up that there'll be more volume, but we'll see if my progress picks up. Right now I've gone about a quarter of the way and I've used about 3 hours. So, I mean, that's obviously a 12-hour day. It's doable here. But I don't know if I want to paddle all 12 hours. We'll see how I do. So it's about 2:45. I am past McKnight Ave and I'm well on my way to the Bow River, but it has been 7, I would say, if I didn't call them grueling hours, I would be lying. It's been tough. A lot of lift outs, a lot of getting out in and out of the raft, maybe a few hundred times, getting over gravel bars, working around little beaver dams, all sorts of little obstacles to get around. And it's just the nature of these little, what I call micro creek paddles, is you're not paddling. It's not an enjoyable paddle a lot of times, although there's some really wonderful spots that I've got, and I hope I've captured the feeling of those for you. But it's a bit of a test of endurance, and certainly this one's testing mine. I can feel it in my arms. I can certainly feel it in my shoulders. So I'm going to keep pushing. Now what I did here is I stopped. I'll try and take a nice little shot of drone footage. I'm not allowed to shoot very long here because it's in the Calgary Airport restricted zone, just on the edge. So that makes it a little bit difficult. I can shoot for about 70 seconds, so I'll put a drone up and just give you a perspective of where I'm at because it's kind of pretty. And then we'll carry on from there. Hopefully when I get down lower, I can get a nice following piece of footage with the drone. So where do I go from here? I think I've got 2 to 3 hours to finish to the Bow River, and that is doable for the evening. The sunset's late here, so I'll be able to push. I've got a friend who's going to pick me up down there, which is terrific. So I'm going to push through. I've gotten some food in me, a sandwich, some of Tina's wonderful trail mix, which is, good old almonds, walnuts, spiced peanuts, and pistachios, which is a wonderful mixture for something like this. Hydrated myself. I actually had a half a chocolate bar to boost my energy because I'm starting to feel the fatigue in my arms and my shoulders. But I know I can get there, and now that I can feel that the end is in sight, I'm going for it. So the worst that could happen did. As you can see here, I have a tear in the bottom. I started taking on water. So I was lucky enough to have a rag and some duct tape here given to me by a local passerby who had his truck and his toolbox. And I went back to look at what was the cause. And if you look in the middle, right there, and that's the problem with these creeks, is people throw all sorts of stuff in there. I'm not sure if that's a bike frame or a shopping cart, but it'll be one of the two. I passed so many of them and I've been so careful. And just as I was feeling really good about the situation, I ran into that, and all of a sudden I had a lap full of water. So next I'm going to try the patch, and I'll show you the end result. Okay, so I dried it off, 3 levels of cross hatching, stitched it across the crack and put tape above and below to prevent tearing, and then went vertical and then went sideways, and then put some vertical strips on. So it's got 3 layers. I'm going to put another couple layers inside to try and hold it together, and we'll see if she floats. So here's the inside. I hope I have enough duct tape to make one more patch if need be, but I've got it patched on both sides. I think she'll float. We're going to get loaded up, and I'll let you know once I'm on the creek. Okay, so patch update. Working good. You know what? No water in the raft. I just paddled through a golf course. This weir behind me is one of the 2 weirs in the stretch before I hit Trans-Canada Highway. I don't know how to get under that. That will be an interesting operation too. I assume it's a big tunnel, but we'll see. Anyway, patch doing well. You can see a lovely little kind of man-made waterfall behind me. I just portaged around that, and off I go again. So there are a couple of interesting clips in this next section, but this one had poor audio, so I'm just going to do the audio again for it. But what you're looking at is a bone sticking out of the riverbank, and it's something large, a moose, maybe a bison perhaps, and it's well down in the sedimentary layer. So you might say, yeah, so what? But look at how far down this is buried. I wonder how many hundreds or thousands of years it takes to get buried into sediment that far. And I do know that there is at least one other historical site on this creek that has been marked on one of my maps as an Aboriginal encampment. So this could be the same, or it could be a
a natural death, that where an animal's been buried and has been down there a very long time. So this is interesting too. Here's something that looks like a mud ball. It's almost a perfect sphere, and I assume it has something to do with the cliff swallows, or whatever we call them here, that nest in the cliff. And you'll see them flying around as I'm shooting. Here goes one right now. But it's almost a perfect sphere, so it makes me really interested as to what it is. You know, did it emerge from, is it a nest that kind of popped out? Is it something that was intentionally built by the swallows? I haven't seen something exactly like that before. Usually it's a bit of a nest with a hole in the front, and it almost looks like beehives, I guess, or a gathering of muddy oval type condos that the swallows live in. But this one is very spherical and very different. So anyone who knows what this is, please let me know. It's a strange feeling, after spending the entire day on a Nose Creek with its muddy and humble origins, to emerge out into the blue-green waters of the mighty Bow River. I hope you enjoyed episode 3. Stay tuned for episode 4, where I will go out into the Alberta backcountry and overnight camp in a tree. You heard me correctly, in a tree. And please, like and subscribe. It'll help me keep the adventures rolling.
Dave's not home, man.